Thread. It was supposed to be the holy grail of smart home networking, but for a lot of people, it feels like it's fallen short. And I don't think that's because Thread is a bad technology. I think that most people make some easy to make mistakes that prevent Thread from reaching its full potential. Thread is becoming a major backbone of Matter, especially for Apple home users. And when it's built correctly, it's local, fast, and incredibly reliable. But here's the surprise: more Thread devices doesn't automatically mean a better network. And a bad Thread network doesn't feel like networking problems, it feels like unreliable devices. And with a wave of new Thread devices launching recently, IKEA included, I've seen a spike in forum and Reddit posts from folks wondering how to get Thread working right. So today I'm going to show you how to build a Thread network from scratch, strengthen an existing one, and troubleshoot the most common issues that people actually run into. Hey, I'm Robert, and Oconee Smart Homes exists to make real homes more convenient, accessible, and safe with smart home technology. We serve real customers right here in Oconee County, Georgia, but this channel is for anyone who wants to make a simpler, smarter home. If you're not super technical or you've never really dug into Thread before, here's the simple version. Thread is a low-power mesh networking protocol for smart homes. That means connected devices don't talk directly to your Wi-Fi router, they talk to each other. And the theory is that more devices strengthen that mesh. And that can be true, but only if you have the right foundation. And to understand that, you need to understand the three roles that a device can play in a Thread network. First, there's the Thread border router. The border router is the bridge between your Thread network and your main IP network. It allows your phone, automations, and smart home system to communicate with your Thread devices. Examples of this include the Apple TV 4K, HomePods, some Eero and Echo devices, and certain brand-specific hubs like Aqara or IKEA. Next are Thread routers, sometimes called mesh extenders. These are powered Thread devices that strengthen and extend the network. Smart plugs, in-wall switches, and some smart bulbs fall into this category, and they do the heavy lifting. And finally, there are Thread end devices. These are usually battery-powered devices like sensors, buttons, locks, blinds. They rely on the network, but don't strengthen it. You've probably also heard of Matter. Matter and Thread work closely together, but they're not the same, and we'll clear that up later. Here's a simple way to think about it. Think of Thread like a roadway system. The border router is the highway exit, the router are the local roads, and the battery-powered end devices are like bicycles. They get around on the roads just fine, but they don't build new roads for anybody else. And once you understand these roles, the most common Thread mistake becomes obvious. The biggest mistake I see is people starting with and going all in on battery-powered Thread devices. It makes sense. You see the Matter logo on the box, you pick up a few sensors, you set them up, and you hope that the network will just figure themselves out. But battery devices don't route traffic. They rely entirely on the powered Thread routers. So if you keep adding end devices without adding any routers, you're not strengthening the network, you're actually weakening it. A Thread network without routers is like Wi-Fi without access points. You may have a gateway, but the far sides of your house just aren't reachable. And powered Thread routers are what establish stability. So how do you build a solid Thread network? Some of you are thinking, step 0, just use Zigbee. And I guess that's fair. Zigbee is more mature and perhaps more forgiving. Thread isn't a bad technology, but it does require a little bit more thoughtfulness. And from what I've seen, most common problems are an issue of knowledge, not technology. So step 1, start with at least one Thread border router. 1 works, 2 adds redundancy. More than that depends on the size of your home, but moderation is key. You don't need a Thread border router in every room. The border router you choose can also influence the smart home platform that you use, so pay attention there. Mixing ecosystems can work, but there's an important caveat we'll cover later. Next, think about Thread routers, power devices like smart plugs and wall switches. These open new roads and allow the network to spread naturally across your home. There's no exact number that you need, but if you're planning on building around Thread, a good starting point is considering 1 router per major room or floor. In my own house, these are things like Eve Energy smart plugs, Aqara T2 smart bulbs, and Innovelli white switches. Now add your battery-powered devices, door and window sensors, motion sensors, locks, buttons, blinds, and everything else. They don't need to shout or struggle because the network is already ready and listening. Step 4, let Thread heal itself. Once your network is set up, Thread will reorganize itself over time. It adapts to changes and will find better routing paths. So don't panic immediately after adding new devices. Avoid rapid resets and give Thread time to heal itself. Now, if you've made it this far, it would mean a lot if you hit the like button. Now let's go on to common thread problems and how to fix them. So what actually goes wrong in the real world? By far the most common problem I see is weak or stretched routing. This can show up in a few different ways. Devices may go offline randomly, automation seems slow or sluggish, or things just seem unreliable for no obvious reason. But the cause is usually the same. Remember, battery-powered thread devices don't route traffic. They rely entirely on nearby thread routers. And if those routers are too far away or there aren't enough of them, the mesh gets stretched, and that's when things start to suffer. The fix is almost always the same. Add a thread router in the problem area. The simplest way is probably a smart plug. Just plug one in near the faulty devices, and if things get fixed immediately, you know you found your issue. If you're in a pinch, restarting the border router can get the network to reestablish routing, but I wouldn't reboot everything unless you really have to. It worked yesterday. If something worked yesterday but doesn't work today, it's rarely a bug. In my experience, this comes down to some kind of topology change. Something changed in the network and you may or may not be able to see it. So first ask yourself the question, did you change anything, like adding a new device or moving a device? Or was there a power outage? In most cases, this is temporary. Thread needs time to re-optimize and find better routes through the network. So the worst thing that you can do is start panicking and resetting everything. If the issue involves a battery-powered device, it may have gone to sleep without a good route, and a quick press of the setup repair button can wake it back up and allow it to reconnect. Some thread problems aren't about coverage at all. They're about what's going on under the hood. First, the network settings. People assume that because Thread and Wi-Fi are separate, that their network settings don't actually matter, but they do. Take IPv6. Matter requires it. Your Thread border router handles IPv6 for your Thread devices, but it still needs to be enabled on your main network so that those devices behave correctly. And while Thread isn't Wi-Fi, both operate on the same 2.4 GHz band. If your router allows it, adjusting the channels can help reduce interference. Next, multiple thread networks. Different border routers can create separate thread networks, and some devices may join one network while others join another. When this happens, you can see inconsistent behavior, random reliability issues, and faster than expected battery drain. Thread 1.4 is intended to improve how this is handled as adoption continues, but for now, it's something you need to be aware of. In my own house, I once had one thread network set up by my Amazon devices and another by my Apple TV. Most devices were fine, but some battery-powered devices really struggled. And honestly, the lack of visibility is one of the biggest pain points with Thread right now. The Eve app has a decent topology view and will show you which role devices play in your network, though it will only show you one thread network. There's an app called Matter Utilities that detects the thread border routers in your home and can show you which thread networks they're associated with. But if you're a Home Assistant user, there's a brand new feature out in beta that allows you to see your entire thread network topology in one view. This might be the tool we've been waiting for. Finally, Matter versus Thread. Some problems aren't technical at all, they're terminology. People confuse Matter and Thread. Matter is the language, Thread is the transport. They're not the same. You can have Matter without Thread, you can have Thread without Matter. And a lot of the Thread doesn't work complaints comes down to one simple thing. You didn't have a Thread border router at home, and you just didn't know. So who is Thread for? Thread is great if you want fast local automations, if you're using a Matter-based ecosystem like Apple Home, and you're willing to think about device placement. But Thread can be frustrating if you expect plug-and-play perfection right out of the box, are only buying battery-powered devices, and don't want to think about topology at all. Most Thread problems aren't bugs, they're coverage, topology, and visibility issues. If this video helped you understand what's actually going on in your smart home, hit subscribe. And if you're struggling with a Thread issue, drop a comment. Let us know what ecosystem, what devices you're using, and what the problem is. We'll read those comments. Hopefully the community can help. God bless you. We'll see you next time.